This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN Network, and we are a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek that's happening virtually this year. And joining me right now is Derrick Weyrouch. He is the president and CEO of Palladium One Mining, Inc. It's a publicly traded company. I got two symbols for you, PDM on the TSX Venture and NKORF in the US. Derrick, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
Oh, very well. Thanks for having me, Robert. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming on. So let's start with a very quick overview and history of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So I got involved with Palladium One a little over a year ago. It was a company in need of a little bit of a restructuring. So we've done a complete rebrand and validated the underlying assets and have been moving forward to develop a PGE project in northern Finland.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit more about that project in Finland. How long has the project, I guess, been online and you've been working it? So tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, so Palladium One is an advanced exploration and development company. What we're really trying to do is target PG, copper, nickel deposits in tier 1 jurisdictions. Our flagship project is the Latina Kalissima, or LK project, and as I said, in north central Finland. It's palladium dominant. It is polymetallic, so it has palladium, platinum, copper, nickel, as well as some gold. The property itself is 38 kilometers of contact in the what's known as the Kalissima complex, and we know that basically the whole contact is mineralized, and our job is really to vector into the higher grade pods of mineralization to build out a large tonnage disseminated resource that we can ultimately put into production. And we put out our first resource actually at Beaver Creek last year, having gone through an exercise over the first number of months of reworking all the historical data, obviously first compiling it, re-assaying it, and we're very pleased with the resource and got a lot of traction at Beaver Creek, and have been raising a little bit of money and got into the field earlier this year.
Absolutely. So, actually the company just put out some news yesterday about how the company intersects 166.7 meters at 1.16 grams per ton palladium equivalent. That's just the first part of the release. But I wanted to ask, one, can you comment on this release a little bit? And then also, I'm just curious, what's considered a high grade drill result for palladium?
Well, it really depends on the setting, right? We're talking about an open pit opportunity here. It's not underground, so you don't need the significantly higher grade to justify the expense of underground mining. So at LK, what we have is very shallow. It's actually mineralization that goes right to surface. The resource that we put out in September, the constrained pit, only goes down about 275 meters, so it's fairly shallow and low strip ratio. So we have actually, with the Kukua deposit in LK, probably the highest open pit palladium dominant project in tier 1 jurisdiction. So our indicated resource grade is about 1.8 grams per ton palladium equivalent, and that's using an $1,100 price deck, whereas the current price of palladium is roughly $2,200 US. So it's really price sensitive, but we've got a very good project, and we're very happy with the grades and the continuity that we're seeing.
I appreciate you using LK for the project. I was going through the release, and that was why I stopped there, because I was like, oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. So I appreciate it. So,
I have the same problem.
I mean, we were just talking offline about your last name. I mean, the proper pronunciation, if you could. Please.
Well, my last name is Weyrouch, but yeah.
Yeah. So
another European name.
Yeah. So, I also have to ask, and you were already starting to allude to this in your last answer, is what would you say makes this project unique and different compared to some of your peers out there?
Well, the PGE space is actually quite small. Over the last few years, there's been a lot of industry consolidation going on. Over $3.3 billion was spent acquiring producers. What's unique about the industry is that 80% of the mine supply comes from Russia and South Africa, both jurisdictions with very high geopolitical risk And as a result of that, we're setting ourselves apart, and we think we're a little bit unique in that we have a palladium dominant or PG dominant project in a tier 1 jurisdiction being Finland. Fraser Institute ranks it as one of the top mining jurisdictions globally, and certainly number 1 from a mining policy perspective. And Finland is part of the EU with a strong mining culture. So from a risk perspective within the PG space, we think that having a quality project with large tonnage, high value in a good jurisdiction should garner a lot of attention. And those are really the key things about the project and area that make it special for us. The reality is that we have a very clear path to resource growth. The work we've done so far has demonstrated it, and we're very optimistic that we'll achieve our goals.
Very good. So my next question would be, is your background? You said you came into the company about a year ago. What were you doing prior to joining Palladium One?
Yeah, I'm a chartered accountant by background. So for the last few years, I was working on a private nickel company, polymetallic. It's actually similar metals as what we have here in Palladium One, but its torque is all on the nickel side of things. So I've been set that company up and was involved with that for the last 4 years. But previously, I was doing some board work on a number of gold producers in South America and also in Africa, and have also been CFO of companies like Jaguar Mining and Andina Minerals, which we sold to Hochschilds a few years ago.
Very good. And from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now for the rest of this year going into 2021?
Well, right now we have a drill program underway. It restarted yesterday, actually. And so we're going to have fairly consistent news flow. And as you alluded to earlier, we did put some news out yesterday, 166 meter intercept, only 40 meters down hole. And it was a step out hole about 180 meters east of the nearest hole. And that hole was designed to be put into the heart of a large IP chargeability anomaly that we discovered this year. And just to put things a little bit in context, the Kikua deposit is contained within 1 kilometer of strike length. And in indicated and inferred, we have an aggregate of about 1.2 million ounces in that deposit, split 50-50. The Kikua South zone, which we identified earlier this year with the IP, which proved extremely effective at identifying mineralization at Kikua, is over 4.5 kilometers in length. So we're quite excited and lit up, a lot stronger than Kikua did. So this first hole that we announced yesterday is extremely significant because it's a step out hole. It goes right in the middle of that anomaly in the geophysics results. And it proves that once again that the correlation is there. If we're getting the chargeability anomalies, we're getting the mineralization. The grade of the mineralization is great. Yes, it's 166 meters at over a gram, but there's a core piece that is about 63 meters at about 1.9 grams per ton. So, excellent. And the first hole we started drilling yesterday is actually on a 45 degree going up dip from that hole. So we can get a better handle of the geometry. And then we're going to be moving out to the east. So key catalysts for us going forward over the next little while is really more drill results coming through. And, based on our evaluation of the various geophysical discoveries that we had.
And with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know about Palladium One?
Our website is www.palladium1, spelled O-N-E, Inc.com.
Derrick, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Stay safe, good luck, and I look forward to our next update.
Thank you very much, Robert. It's great speaking to you once again.
Great speaking to you too. Again, my name is Robert Kraft. I'm your host for SNN Network. We're a proud media sponsor for the upcoming Precious Metals Summit Beaver Creek happening virtually this year. Derrick will be there, and I thank you all for listening.